Just like its predecessor, the sequel to 2022 hit horror flick Smile is trying to kickstart a viral marketing campaign. Secret social media accounts are popping up everywhere, teasing some sort of release tomorrow, June 18th. Could this be the same date as a trailer drop for Smile 2, and will this campaign be just as effective as the last time? Let's get into it! Hey everybody, welcome to the Killjoy Jake YouTube channel. Before we get into today's update, I'd like to thank the wonderful patrons that support this page. Without you all, I wouldn't be able to continue making videos for this goofy little channel. Please consider signing up for my Patreon by clicking on the link in the description of this video or by pressing the join button on this page. Thank you again to my patrons. Now let's get into the update. Parker Finn's Smile was a shocking box office hit back in 2022. It garnered $217 million against its $17 million budget, and I think that's even more impressive considering it was in theaters at the same time as a new Halloween film. It's a feature adaptation of Finn's 2022 short film, Laura Hasn't Slept, and with how impressive that short is, it's no surprise he was able to turn it into something bigger. While the film had mostly positive reviews, I often hear the same criticisms about the flick within the community. The most common con I hear is that it's too similar to films that came before it in terms of story flow. Films like The Ring, It Follows, and Drag Me to Hell all sort of hit on this idea already. There's some sort of curse placed on our main character, and if they don't do something about it soon, or within a certain time period, they die. I'm on the fence with this criticism. Sure, it might stand on the shoulders of giants, but Smile has its own unique flavor to it. I've seen countless examples of movies that were just this movie and this other movie thrown into a blender with each other, and I loved them. Not every flick needs to reinvent the wheel, you know? There's a difference between familiarity and, well, blatant ripoff. Despite the quality of the film overall, a lot of Smile's success came from its viral marketing campaign that had the internet in a chokehold. I still think one of the best things to come from this movie was this scary BS. It clearly worked considering that box office return and the green light on the sequel. Now Smile 2 has begun a new viral marketing campaign focusing on its lead character, Sky Riley. Sky is a famous pop star who will be the next target of the Smile demon since Sosie Bacon got cooked in the last one. She's working on a new horror project with her parents right now, interestingly enough. The Baconators all coming together to scare the heck out of us. I love it. There is already a Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok page up for it now with teases of the character's new song, Blood on White Satin, dropping tomorrow, June 18th. With billboards all around the greater Los Angeles area advertising this single, I'm guessing this is going to be a real music drop. You can even pre-save it on Spotify and Apple Music by going to the website. No way. Obviously, there's a lot to discuss here before the drop tomorrow. First off, Sky Riley is played by actress and musician Naomi Scott, best known for Lemonade Mouth and the live-action remake of Aladdin. She recorded songs for both of these movies, and Smile 2 seems to be no different. Obviously, this song will be about blood and horror, though, which definitely makes it stand out a little bit. There is also the question of a trailer for the film dropping tomorrow, which certainly isn't out of the question. The sequel arrives on October 18th of this year, and about now would be a pretty good time to start marketing. This is when we usually start to see the campaigns for the bigger movies coming out in the fall. They usually start sometime around like the end of June, early July. Speaking of which, be on the lookout for a Terrifier 3 teaser real soon here. That comes out in early October as well, and ya boy has his eyes peeled. Bringing this video full circle, there might be a bit of a hiccup I'm starting to notice with Smile 2's marketing. Another film is releasing 2 months before the Smile sequel that has an eerily similar concept and has already started marketing its movie in a similar way. The film in question is Trap from director M. Night Shyamalan. If you don't know about this flick yet, it revolves around a dad and daughter who go to a pop concert for Lady Raven, another faux pop artist played by Shyamalan's daughter Salika. In the trailer, we learn that the film's namesake is literal, as the cops have surrounded the building, hoping to trap a serial killer named The Butcher. We also learn that the dad, played by Josh Hartnett, is that same killer. Dun dun dun. My dude's just putting his twists out in the open these days, huh? The odd part about all of this is not only the similarity in concepts there, but also the way the movies are being marketed. For both films, you can currently go to a website for their faux pop star that's hyping up their new song, alongside links leading you to trailers for each respective film. Again, the movies themselves are different enough. One is a procedural supernatural thriller about a pop star trying to evade a deathly curse, while the other is about a serial killer trying to evade being caught by the cops cops and having a legendarily uncomfortable conversation with his daughter. Sorry, honey, dad kills people and I'm going to jail. The odd part here is entirely the marketing that may diffuse excitement for either film, and most likely the one that comes out later. Smile 2 isn't in the best position, however, coming out 2 months after Trap. I'd hate to see people lose interest or compare the two films before they even release. This happens a lot when two movies come out around the same time. One always seems to be favored over the other, and it's usually the one that comes out first. 2024 already has a spitting example of this, with Immaculate pulling in $26.8 million against a $9 million budget. The First Omen, however, achieved $53.7 million with a $30 million budget. Now, that might not sound too bad for The First Omen, but original box office projections said it would make 14 to 15 million during its opening weekend, when it only pulled in a little over 8. The film also had a pretty extensive marketing campaign, making me think the studio had a lot more faith in this film. See what I did there? With a $30 million budget, this flick needed to make at least $70 million to be considered successful. But at least it wasn't a flop, it still made its money back. Immaculate, however, just cleared a profitable margin due to its much lower budget and earlier release date. Again, I don't think this has anything to do with the quality of either film, but after you've just seen an Antichrist movie, typically the general audience wants to move on to something else. I guarantee you First Omen would have crossed 70 million had Immaculate not been released when it did. A smart move on Neon's part, however. There are some far more egregious examples of this that I don't think these two films will fall into because of their obvious differences, but I'd be failing at my job if I didn't mention this strange little story. Do you all remember that film Madagascar? Ben Stiller and Chris Rock play a lion and zebra respectively and escape the New York Zoo? Or maybe you remember the Sacha Baron Cohen rendition of I Like to Move It, Move It. I personally quote Mort from this movie all the time. Hey, King Julian! Well, less than a year later, in spring of 2006, a film released called The Wild, and it's basically the same movie. Animals escape the New York Zoo and go on a little adventure. The Wild is so derivative in terms of looks to Madagascar and the plot just being Finding Nemo that it was a commercial failure. General audiences aren't stupid, man. They remember movies. These two flicks had even more time between them as well, and it still flopped. This has me kind of worried for Smile 2, but again, we have not seen the marketing campaign yet. It's only just begun. I'm predicting that the beginning of this campaign will focus on its new lead character, Sky Riley, pop star extraordinaire. But then we will hopefully see some more creepy people smiling out in the wild somewhere as we get deeper into the summer. It worked for the first film and more recently The Strangers Chapter 1, so why not recreate that here? Send them to the sporting events again, but maybe have them show up in front of Ring camera videos? Again, it worked for The Strangers and people still saw that movie, even though it literally just ripped off the best scenes from the previous two Strangers flicks and tried to sell it as something new. Oh god, don't get me started on that again. I think it would be in the marketing team's best interest to stick to their guns on this one. Give the fans what they want and terrorize people at public events. Do your faux pop star thing this month to get things kicked off, but I would shift gears as we get closer to the release and past the release of Trap. Just my thoughts. I'm very excited for Smile 2, however, as I really enjoyed the previous film. Smile might not be my absolute favorite horror flick from 2022, but I'd certainly put it in my top 10. It's a film I still put on from time to time, simply for its effective scares, use of characters, and disturbing visuals. The creature at the end alone was enough to impress me. I can't wait to see how this concept gets shot into the stratosphere with part 2. Let's turn that frown upside down. Also, if you have a second, please consider subscribing to my gaming channel, GullGotha. I have a new video going up there today that was a blast to make, so I hope you all give it a watch. Subscribe to that page now so I can hit my goal of 1,000 subscribers before the end of the summer. What are you guys expecting from Smile 2, though? Do you think it could be just as successful as the first movie if it has that viral marketing campaign? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you all again for watching, and as always, don't forget to kill it out there, y'all.